What story? I'm a normal high school student. My friends and I make silly YouTube videos. We do our schoolwork, most of it, at least, and we like hanging out with each other. However, something strange has come up, and none of us really know what to think about it. It all started when my friend Selena decided to buy herself a book of the horror genre. Looking to get into the Halloween season, seeing as it was October at the time. It wasn't a very big book, just about the thickness of those Magic Treehouse books I read as a child. It was blue on all sides, no art or even a title. Selena got it anyway, because despite its size, the librarian said she had read it herself and strongly recommended it. Judging from how quickly she read the book, and how much it held her attention while she was reading it, I guess we could see why. When she finished, she couldn't stop going on about how mind-blowing the ending of the story was. Me and our other two friends, Kyle and Mark, asked about it, but she insisted we read it for ourselves. I'm not a really big reader. Don't get me wrong, I can read fine. In fact, in elementary school, I read faster than any other kids in my grade. Then they started making us read as part of our grade, and I just lost interest. It wasn't as fun anymore, since I was being forced to do it. However, I do enjoy horror. I don't know why, but I enjoy reading things like creepypasta, actual horror books, horror games, and even movies. The movies tend to be my least favorite though, seeing as a lot of plots were reused between films, not to mention how slowly the story moves. No one else volunteered, since Kyle was disinterested, as he was with a lot of things that we talked about, and Mark was the kind of person to be easily scared and spent a lot of his time being anxious over silly things. I volunteered to read it, and she handed me the book. I read it that night, and it was honestly very interesting. It followed a teenage boy whose mother had been murdered. He decided to investigate it, only to find out it had been a man who'd been tending to be his father for almost a year. It was an unexpected and great plot twist, and the entire story was suspenseful and well written. I was excited to talk to Celine about it the next morning, but we decided to wait until we could get the other two to read it. The next couple of days I kept thinking and theorizing about the plot and what was left unanswered, waiting for them to finish reading it. Finally, on Friday, the day came when they finished, and we could talk about it without spoiling it for each other. This is where things got strange. We kept trying to talk about it, but any time we tried making up any kind of reference or talking about a character, nothing we said lined up, and we were left confused. "Why do you think that the killer was after his mom?" I asked Selena. "Whose mom?" "The kids weren't at camp with their parents. Their parents were at home," Selena answered. "What camp and what killer?" Mark asked, seeming more confused than the two of us. "The killer that made the mannequins. I don't know what they mean by camp and their parents, though." "There weren't any mannequins in the story," Selena and I both argued. "Yes, there was, look." Kyle went to open the book and flipped to a certain page, but stopped when he noticed something strange. The pages all just had the word "story" written on them. We looked at each other, then back at the book. We didn't quite come up with anything to say. What does a person say when a full book they read a day or two ago turns out to have been written pretty much blank the whole time? Selena went to return the book, only to find out the librarian wasn't there, and none of the other librarians had heard from her since Selena had got the book from them. We tried getting past it, though, forgetting it never happened. Besides some anxiety here and there, it started leaving my mind entirely. Started to. Something's bothering me, though. Something I noticed last night, as I was lying in bed. Selena had plans to go to summer camp that year. Kyle has a real-life phobia of mannequins. And Mark hasn't been the same since he read whatever it was he read. He always seemed to be thinking more deeply about everything. I tried asking him about whatever it was that could have happened or been troubling him, but he just sighed and softly said, "I can't say," or "it will happen." I knew I had to warn them about this. I wasn't about to risk the possibility of a consequence, and we've taken steps to protect ourselves. Selena canceled her plans for camp. We're thinking about trying to get help for Kyle's phobia, and for Mark, who just seems like he needs help in general. And me? I've decided to start watching my father very closely.